Okay, well, tonight I'm reading this book, Unmasking Autism. Autism is a topic that I recently got obsessed with, and I found out this book in the library. It's from Devon Price, Dr. Devon Price, Discovering the New Faces of Neurodiversity. And I just read like the introduction, and I really enjoyed this page. So I'll be sharing it with you tonight, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Okay? Let's start. Let's go. Okay, it says, the more I read about autism, the more things began clicking into place. I had always been overwhelmed by loud sounds and bright lights. I got inexplicably angry in crowds. Laughter and chatter could make me blow up with rage. When I got too stressed out or became overcome with sadness, I found it hard to speak. I hidden all this for years because I was certain it made me a joyless, unlovable asshole. Now I was beginning to wonder why I believed such awful things about myself. Autism was my newest obsession, a thing I couldn't stop reading and thinking about. But I had many other special interests in the past. I remember being passionate about watching and horror novels as a child. Kids and adults alike had cheated me for being too weird and hyper about those interests. I was too much in so many ways. To other people, my tears were in major tantrums and my opinions were condescending. I don't know how to pronounce that one. Were condescending diatribes. As I grew up, I learned to be less intense, less embarrassing, less me. I study other people's mannerisms. I spent a lot of time dissecting conversations in my head, and I read up on psychology so I could understand people better. That was why I got a PhD in social psychology. PhD. I had needed to carefully study the social norms and patterns of thinking that seemingly felt natural to everybody else. After researching autism privately for about a year, I discovered the autistic self-advocacy community. There was an entire movement led by autistic people who argue we should view the disability as a perfectly normal form of human difference. These thinkers and activists said our way of being wasn't wrong at all. It was society's failure to adapt to our needs that left us feeling broken. People like Rabbi Rudy Reagan, author of the blog Real Social Skills, and Amithez Shaver, the creator of the Neuro Wonderful video series, taught me about neurodiversity. I came to recognize that many disabilities are created or worsened by social exclusion. Totally true. I came to recognize that many disabilities are created or worsened by social exclusion. Armed with this knowledge and a growing sense of self-confidence, I started meeting autistic people in real life, posting about autism online, and attending local meetups for neurodiverse people. I found out there were thousands of autistics just like me who discovered their disability in adulthood after years of confused self-loathing. As children, these autistic faults have been visibly awkward, but they were mocked for it instead of given help. Another truth. Like me, they had developed coping strategies to blend in. Things like staring at a person's forehead to simulate eye contact or memorizing conversational scripts based on exchanges they saw on TV. Many of these stealthily autistic people fell back on their intellect or other talents to gain acceptance. Others became incredibly passive because if they toned down their personalities, they wouldn't have to risk being too intense. Beneath the inoffensive professional veneers they had developed, their lives were falling apart. Many of them suffer from self-harm, eating disorders, and alcoholism. Alcoholism? They were trapped in abusive or unfulfilling relationships, with no clue how to feel seen and appreciated. Nearly all of them were depressed, haunted by a profound sense of emptiness. Their entire lives had been shaped by mistrust in themselves, hatred of their bodies, and fear of their desires. I noticed that there were clear patterns in which kinds of autistic people succumb to this kind of fate. Autistic women, transgender people, and people of color often had their traits ignored when they were young or have symptoms of distress interpreted as manipulative or aggressive. So did autistic people who grew up in poverty without access to mental health resources. Gay and gender non-conforming men often didn't fit the masculine image of autism well enough to be diagnosed. Older autistics never had the opportunity to be assessed because knowledge about the disability was so limited during their childhoods. This systematic exclusion had forced an entire massive, diverse population of disabled people to live in obscurity. This gave rise to what I am now calling masked autism, a camouflage version of the disorder that is still widely neglected by researchers, mental health providers, and autism organizations that are led by autistic people, such as Mod Revealed Autism Speaks. And then says, autism is a pretty complex and multi-faced disorder that covers a lot of different traits, which can manifest in many different ways. I'm also talking about any autistic person whose suffering wasn't taken seriously because of reasons of class, race, gender, age, lack of access to healthcare, or the presence of other conditions. Okay, so I will leave it here. I hope you read it. I hope you enjoy it. I will keep enjoying it myself. And just read it, please. It's a really good reading. Like, you have to read it. Okay, I'm gonna go. Bye. Thank you for listening.